All right. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall continue to study from the book of Joshua. So yesterday in the afternoon prayer, that we touch upon Joshua chapter 3. We touch upon Joshua chapter 3. That I believe that you think that for this class, we will surely go on to chapter 4. You are wrong. Okay? Too young, too simple. Okay? No. For the first class, at least for the first class, we will still go back. They will recap upon chapter 3 until I reach my full satisfaction. Yep. Yesterday, that we had our sermonizing for the fourth year students. So I believe that all of you, you were that you sitting in different group to participate, seeing the fourth year doing their sermons. So I don't know how you feel. I don't know if you were nervous thinking about down the road in a few more years, you will be the one doing it. If you are nervous, if you are exciting, if you cannot wait, I don't know. But at least in my group, in the group that I sat in, I am very satisfied with their work. I'm very satisfied with their work. There are, of course, more rooms to improve, for sure. There are some issues that they need to tackle, for sure. But overall, in terms of their structure of the message, I am very satisfied. They know exactly what they are doing. So having the ability to take the Bible passage and able to analyze the structure, the right teaching, and able to deliver properly and smoothly, that require effort and learning. So our Bible, our God is God of order. The Bible also, they are very clear structure that you should learn how to extract teaching out of the passage. It will be very useful for your personal learning. It will be very useful for you, for your for the holy work that you are participating. So I teach the structure analogy for the PMVP class. Not this time though. That I teach a structure analogy for the RETS, for the RE teachers. I teach a structure analogy also for the TTP students. It is very important, it is imperative that you are able to acquire the order, the structure from the passage that will help you to have a very solid RE class, to help your audience, your students, to follow the chain of thoughts in the Bible. So we still need to spend some time to recap the structure from chapter 3 that for your benefit. So this is what we touched upon from the prayer section yesterday. Basically, I am only going to draw out the structure or line out the structure just for easier for you to see the way I think, make it easier for you. So everything to begin. Now we are taught the main topic or the theme. The theme is crossing the river, right? Crossing Jordan River. So the big theme, cross the river. That's where your focus is upon, crossing the river. Crossing, okay, fine. Crossing the river. And the main passage from Joshua chapter 3. Okay, so that's your focus. That's what you focus upon. Next, category. Category. You can talk about people, category. That itself is a category. You can talk about priests. That itself is another category. Okay? So yesterday we talked about from the perspective of the people. How do you cross the Jordan River to enter into the promised land? Number one, you need to out of your comfort zone. I am not going to go into the teaching because I did that yesterday already. I'm only drawing you the pattern, the way I think and structure the passage. So that, this is what we are looking for. When you get to the fourth year, you need to come up with this to help you to deliver that which is sermonizing. You need to have you need to know how to write structure that will help you to pave pave the message, pave the direction of the message. So for the category of the people, my point 1, my point 8 is you need to get out of your tent, your comfort zone, in order to make a differences. Okay? Do amazing thing out of your comfort zone. Number 2, it says that you must follow the ark of the covenant. Okay? You have to have the right direction or aiming on the right direction. Again, everything I am doing is pulling points out of the same passage. Okay? So point A, get out of your comfort zone so that you can do amazing thing for the Lord. Second, make sure that you follow the right direction. You will Hello. All right. I fix things. Hey, I'm very handy. Okay, I'm very handy. I sharpen my own sword, my own knife. Knife. I cook. Yeah, at night when the kids go to sleep, when the wife is in the room reading, doing her own things, I take out the sharpening stone and I pull out all my knife. At midnight, at the middle of the night, you see that grind, and my wife is creepy. Yeah, she just locked the door. Yeah, no, it's very soothing. Sharpening the knife is really release a lot. Especially after you did it, you take out a piece of paper and you slide the blade through it. It's just you make the life complete, okay? Yeah. Yeah, right. You know that, man, we only need that little habit. Yeah, little habit, happy. We only need that little happy to make our day. So just leave us alone, would you? Yeah. Man cave, man cave. You are on the girl side, okay? Okay, so you know what? Number one, out of comfort zone. Number two, you must have the right direction. When you set the right goal, then you are able to have the right direction of life. So they say that it says that you must make sure that you follow the arc. Number three, you must sanctify purity or holiness. Joshua said, purify or sanctify yourself, for you shall see the great thing that the Lord do to you. That the Lord will do tomorrow, the following day. So now, if you want, you can write a sermon outline just on this alone. It's a very complete structure. Okay, how do you cross the Red Sea? But you can also advance yourself into the next stage. This is about servitude. This is about people, Israelites. This is about priesthood, the one that holds the honor and respect from God. So some people, that this is more general. But in fact, you really want to encourage everyone to strive to obtain the priesthood. Right? In the Apostle Peter said that we are the royal priesthood. Royal priesthood. So in terms of the priests, what are the requirements to cross that? Now this is another structure. You can separate them. You don't have to put them together. You can separate them as a priesthood. What did we learn? You need to shoulder the burden. You need to shoulder the burden. As we say repeatedly, that no suffering, no glory. Right? No suffering, no glory. That's one thing that you need to remember. Shoulder the burden. It says what? Ahead of the people, you are leading the way. You are setting the good example. Okay? So you shoulder the burden, you leading the way, you walk ahead of the people. And number three, you take the first step. You know that when they were as they were marching toward the Jordan River, it's not like as they were walking and then the water stopped parting. No, it wasn't like that. The Bible says that they dip their feet into the water. Then the miracle occurred. But yesterday I was reminded by one of the PMVP students that the way I describe the situation might cause a misunderstanding for you when I use the word parted. Okay? That's not that when we say that the water parted, you might feel, oh yeah, it just, you stand there, you touch the water, and from you that the water just go on either side and become a wall. That's not what happened. It was not like the Red Sea. It wasn't like the Red Sea. The Red Sea parted. So yesterday in the prayer session, when I used the word parted, I only meant the water just dry up so that they walk the dry land. I don't mean, because if you read the more detailed description, that's not what happened. So this is Jordan River, going all the way from the mountain, the high mountain, keep on going, floating down until you enter into the Dead Sea. Dead Sea. This is a very famous tourist site today because it's also known as the South, like the South Sea. So that if you can just jump onto the, it's a huge lake. You can just jump onto it and you never go down because the density is extremely high. So you can flow. You are unable to go down. Yeah, you will flow because of the salt, of the density. That the water keep on going here and then it keep on evaporating. So that the concentration of the salt, the saltian, is extremely high. That there is nothing that no fish, nothing really survive because it was extremely with an extremely high concentration of salty. But at the same time, you can afloat without 那个叫什么？那个游泳圈啊？You don't need a life jacket. You don't need a life vest. You don't need 游泳圈叫什么？Floating device. You American. English is, yeah. Okay, so you don't need any floating device. You will afloat because of the concentration. Okay? But there's no life either. There's no, maybe bacteria, but there's no life in there. No fish. There's no fish. Okay? So somewhere along the way that they are crossing the Jordan River, when the priests step into the raging water, right? We say that it was overflowing, the water was strong. When their feet touch upon the water, it's not this part that was divided. It's somewhere on the upper bank, in the upper area, it cut off. It cut off. In the, it was far. It was not anywhere close to them. It was not. So this area that the water were cut off like a wool, like a dam, that it was black. So slowly the remaining water flow through, keep on going and going, and then no more water, no more water. That's why you see that the priest touch upon the water, this part cut off, but this part where they enter, when the priest touch it, miracles start to occur, but they did not get to see it. Like instant. It's not an instant. It's not an instant, vivid, on-site miracle. No. So they touched the water, God started working, they got their feet in there, and the Bible said that they stood in water. They stood in water. It was still at the moment when they got into the water, when the priest got into the river and stand still, water is still coming down. The only thing is in far away, that a place that you cannot see, God start working already. So as the remaining water keep on rushing down and they stood still in here, then eventually all this area dries up because no more water. That's how it works. Right? So it was different than parting the Red Sea. All right, parting the Red Sea is in front of them, right in front of their eyes. That God divide the Red Sea. Not in this scenario, not in their case. Their case is God is working, but at the place that you did not see yet. Okay, but if you stand there, you hold your position, then you will receive the dry ground. You will see eventually how God opened the way for you. Okay? So that's how it works in this miracle. Okay? So we see now in this category of the priesthood, you want to cross the Jordan River, you want to see the amazing things of the Lord. Hey, priest, shoulder the burden and gather the courage, go ahead of the people. Example, living by example, having a higher demand upon yourself, and then gather your courage. Trust in the Lord, even you have not yet seen the work of God. We all know about the story or the miracle of the leper, like the 10 leprosy, huh? The 10 leper are cured by Jesus, right? But if you pay attention to the detail, Jesus did not heal them on sight, did not. When they came and said, Rabbi, have mercy on us, have mercy, have mercy, Jesus said to them, go to the priest and have you to be checking out, to be checked by the priest. So the Bible specifically say, as they were on the way, then they were healed. As they were on the way. It wasn't instant. It wasn't on sight. Usually people say, no, heal me right now. Then I will go to the priest. Show me the miracle. Then I will get myself checked out. I need to see it before I believe in it. All right. So that's the differences of the faith. Okay? In the 40 years ago by the Red Sea, there's no faith because they know nothing. They were like baby. They only know cry, complain, whining, grumbling. That's the only thing they know. But the law was very accepting. The law was very tolerating. Why? You tolerate a baby, right? One day when you give birth, the baby, they cry. They cry for anything. When they need to eat, they cry. When they feel bad, they cry. When they need to use the bathroom, they just go ahead, but then they don't like it, then they cry. So they cry for anything. All right, they don't talk, they just cry. So as a parent, when you are facing a 3-month-old, 6-month-old, you don't just yell at the baby and say, speak up. If you don't tell me what you need, how do I know what you need? You don't, because they can't. So dealing with the baby, then the law was very, very tolerating. So you don't need to do anything. They were like crying, angry, shouting, fear. Oh, we're going to die. We're going to die. Moses, what's wrong with you? And God said, you know what? Moses, let's just, get the job done. So people were not involved. God did everything. But 40 years later, it was different. God wanted them to wait patiently. Wait patiently. Number one, God wants their participation. You need to take the first step. If you don't, the river will never dry for you. Never. It doesn't matter how long you pray. It doesn't matter how hard you fast. It doesn't matter how much you cry. It doesn't matter because you are no longer a baby. You are not. The Lord has higher expectation on you. So the law will work when you trust in Him. And nothing will ever happen when you gather your courage and say, sure, I will, for your name. And then you will see the miracle will start to work. But maybe you don't see it right away. But for those who patiently endure, you shall see how God dry the ground for you. That's the concept. Right? So for priests, that's the structure. There's one more about the priesthood. You are the priest. Then the law has higher expectation on you. If you go back to, chapter 3. It was recorded in chapter 3. Also recorded in chapter 4. Okay. If you go to in verse 17, if you go to verse 17, and the priests who carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, while all Israel crossed the dry ground until all the nation had finished crossing the Jordan. The Bible mentioned that the priests enter and they stood still. They were the first one in the water and the last one to get out of the river. The last one. They endure until the end. Till the end. So for those who endure to the end, not only you shall be safe, but you shall also be glorified. Your servitude is valuable when you endure to the end. Your salvation only happens when you uphold your faith until the end. Everything is about till the end. Everything is about whether your servitude, whether your journey to heaven. It doesn't. Everything along the way you build it, along the way you put in effort, along the way you are able to do amazing work. But if you never cross the finish line, everything is only a tragedy. Crossing the end is everything. Just like in the spiritual warfare, survival is everything. You fight the spiritual battle, you fight fiercely, but at the end, if you die by the sword of Satan, okay, that you lose heart, you gave up, you walk away from church, and you say, I cannot take this anymore. It doesn't matter how hard you fought. It doesn't matter. The moment when you gave up or you died, got killed, then everything got wiped out. So survival is everything. You endure until the end. That brings you the ultimate glory. So that's a complete structure of the work of the priesthood. Crossing the, remember what we say? You can be the witness. You can be the witness of this amazing moment. You can also be the participant or creator of this amazing moment. Depends on who you want to be. You can always be the one that's sitting in the pew and say, wow, amazing, God is working here, God is working there. You can be the audience. You can also be the one that bear the testimony if you are able to get out of your comfort zone. If you are able to shoulder the burden of the Ark of the Covenant. Now, before we go on, I want to spend a little time addressing upon another something else. Let's go to chapter 3. Chapter 3. Let's read chapter 3, verse 16. In verse 16, then the water which were floating down from above stood and rose up in one heap, a great distance away at Adam, the city that is beside Zarethan, and those which were floating down toward the sea of the Arabah, the salt sea, were completely cut off. Okay, the river, the Jordan River, is what hindered them, blocking them from the promise. Here is the promised land. Okay, and this river is blocking them. Now, the Bible uses a very unique description. I shouldn't say unique. It's very meaningful descriptions. It was giving a very meaningful description Huh? Somewhere along the way that they are crossing Jordan River, somewhere from far away here, city of Adam. So the river flows down and it got cut off at the city of Adam, and it was near, what did it say? It was near Zarethan. Okay, this area is called Zarethan. How about Arabeth? All this area, oh, no H. Zara, 为什么我的有 ？Zara， 我的有TH， 哦 TH， 我的有My version says Zarethan, so my version says Zarethan. But you know, it just translated. That's not the original spelling anyway. That name is not. So this is just a way that it was translated to English. As long as the pronunciation is somewhere close. I mean, let me tell you, our pronunciation is not even correct. Yeah, because it was not the language. I mean, it was not. The city was not named in English. Okay, but anyway, it was somewhere up here, far. This is far away, right? Far away, and all this area is known as Arab. Arab. Arabah. Arabah, like a plain. The plain of Arabah. The Dead Sea. The Dead Sea. Or now the South Sea, or also known as the Sea of Arabah. Okay, so if you look at that, it got cut off from here. There is a very important spiritual prefiguration in this entry. Spiritual prefiguration in this entry. So, Zarethan, what is the meaning of the word Zarethan? Zarethan means cold. It was cold. It was labor. And it was sorrow. Okay? So, city of Adam near Zareth, a place that's cold with intense labor and a lot of sorrow. That was the meaning of Zarethan. Huh? What? So, sorrow. Same thing. Same thing. Life is very sorrowful. All right, so in here, you see that the whole description is very negative. Okay? But the funny thing is, now it is connected to city of Adam, the fallen son of the Lord. God called Adam as his son, but Adam disappointed God. Thus that he was outcast and began what? Began the sorrow of man. The sorrow of man. Because of him, sin came into the world. Because of his disobedience, sin came into the world, and we were all subject under the power of sin. Okay? Life. Remember what God said to Adam? You shall till the ground. You need to sweat all over that until you need to labor before the land will give you anything. It wasn't like this before. It wasn't. Remember when they were in the Garden of Eden, the Lord said, anything, my son, that feel free. They don't need to labor because they just look at the tree. I like this one. I like that one, except the tree of the knowledge of the good and evil, except that one. You know that they can freely eat from the tree of life, but not the tree that of the knowledge of the good and evil. Disobedient. You know, the funny thing is, out of all the trees, I don't know how many, hundreds, thousands, millions, out of all the choice, God only say except one. And human beings, our natural instinct is, then I must try that one. Isn't that how we are? Isn't that how we are? And then there are some members, they blame God. They say, hey, if God did not set that command, then Adam will be fine and we will be fine. You know what? That's another human issue. Human issue number one, naturally, we are disobedient. When God say no, we say, oh, then I must try. Right? That's how we are. When there's a rule, when there's a sign say, do not swim, you must go and swim there and say, oh, why? There's a fine print, for there are alligators. You didn't read that part. Yeah. You know that when we see don't, it naturally translates to why? How dare you to stop me? I must try it. All right. That's why people disobedient. People are naturally disobedient. Second, people are easily shifting the responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. Just like the member told me, hey, if God never said that rule, then we would never be in trouble. So they feel that it's God's fault. That's not how it works. So we need to examine let's go back here. So city of Adam, the beginning of the fallen of man, disappointing God. Life is cold, labor intense, and full with nothing but sorrow. And Arabeth. What is the meaning of Arabeth? It means the land was burned. It means 荒凉, deserted. It was a wilderness of deserted, like no one wants it. There's nothing. There's another meaning say it was empty. Empty. It's a land of nothing, right? It's a deserted and that nobody wants, nobody care. 不毛之地. The land was like being scorched. It was being burned. It's good for nothing. There's nothing good over there. It was empty. So if you think about it, this is the fate of human beings. This is our fate. We, because of Adam, we were subject to sin. We are parted from the grace of God because of sin, because of Adam, sin. That we are outcast from the Garden of Eden. Our life under the sin is only Zareth. People, and then, remember, water floating. Water from Adam, only sorrow and labor, going through many emptiness. You pursue, you go after. You know what? If you attend more funeral, seriously, if you go and spend more time attending funeral than playing video games, if you spend time strolling in the graveyard, you know what? I think that you should build up a good hobby like me. Like my hobby is visiting the cemetery. Oh, I love it. Oh, no. Since young, I was like that. Since young, since elementary school, I was always exciting to check out the cemetery. And I like to read the tombstone. All right. So you know what, nowadays, when my wife is devising a planning of the family trip, the first thing that she check with AI is there any good cemetery around the area? Seriously, I'm not joking. Shipping, I don't know. Should be like my daughter being in several cemetery with me already. I love cemetery. They were so quiet. Like no one bug you. They just lay there. Tranquility. I love that. You know, like here it's very noisy, right? You know, seriously, over there, as you pave yourself around the cemetery, and then some of them are so well decorated. Some of them are apparently that no one come and tend to the rid of the weeds, clean the tomb. You just you know that, and some of them have been there for like hundreds of years. Yeah. So you know that several years ago, I think it's 2016, about 10 years ago, Ariana was about 6 or 7 years old. My family took a trip to Italy. And when we got off got out of the airport, like we are off the plane, out of the airport, before we even check into the hotel, that my wife I mean she planned the family trip. We were taking two little kids. One is 7, one is 5, with like 4 checking luggage, 3 checking luggages and backpack, and we were strolling in the big cemetery in Milan. That was so memorable. You don't get it. You think, you know, you might think that, oh, let's go to the museum, let's go check this out, check out. You have no idea. You are wasting money. In the old days, people care so much about life and death. So they spend most money for their death. The best artistic master craftsmen, they use that for the cemetery. So you want to see the free sculptures, carving, design, a generation of the highest peak of artistic skill. You go to the cemetery, not the museum. You go to the cemetery for free. If it's free, it's good. Seriously. So I like to try strolling around the cemetery because it really gets you thinking. Not easy when you are pushing like 2 kids, right? Yeah, but still, it makes the day. So you know what? This is life. You go from what? After Adam sinned, we are parted from God. Our life is only cold labor and sorrow with accumulation of a lot of nothing, emptiness. Eventually, you enter that sea. That's an inevitable fate. Water just keep on floating like this, like you aging and die. That's the only thing. Until when? Until when you are the people of God, you get out of your comfort zone, you follow the ark, you purify yourself, you become the priest, you carry the burden, you walk ahead, you gather the courage for God, anything that God will cut off this inevitable fate, that you are able to start making differences in your life. This is what human meant to die. Like how they meant to living a meaningless and die. It doesn't matter what kind of accomplishment, you die. But this is the only way, by the power of the Lord and your faith in Him, it can make you live and enter into a new beginning in the promised land. Think about that. Let's all pray in silence.